Ever had one of those days at work where everything just goes wrong? Picture this. You're Sarah, a junior manager, just trying to keep things running smoothly. You've got this big project deadline breathing down your neck, and your team is counting on you. But there's a problem. A big one. The senior management team, let's call them the Sharks, has been making your life a living nightmare. They're condescending, they undermine you in front of your team, and they treat you like you're invisible. Sound familiar? Well, for Sarah, it all came to a head one Tuesday afternoon. She'd meticulously organized the supply room, labeling everything, creating a perfect system so her team could get what they needed without any hassle. It was a small thing, but it was her way of bringing a little order to the chaos. Then the Sharks descended. Led by the notoriously arrogant senior director, they needed supplies for a last-minute executive brainstorming session. Instead of asking, they just stormed the room. They tore through her carefully arranged shelves, grabbing whatever they wanted, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Boxes were ripped open, papers scattered, and everything was a mess. They didn't even acknowledge her as they walked out, laughing about their successful raid. Sarah stood there, staring at the chaos. It wasn't just about the supplies. It was the blatant disrespect. It was the final straw. She felt that hot sting of humiliation, the kind that makes you want to either scream or just disappear. Her team saw it too. They looked at her, then at the mess, their own morale sinking. They saw their leader being treated like she didn't matter, and it made them feel like they didn't matter either. For a moment, Sarah felt completely defeated. How could she lead a team when she couldn't even command basic respect from her own superiors? She went home that night feeling smaller than she ever had before. But then something shifted. As she sat there replaying the scene in her head, the anger and hurt started to transform into something else. Resolve. She wasn't going to let them break her. She wasn't going to let them crush her team's spirit. They stormed her supply room, yes, but she was about to storm something far more important, their overblown confidence. She spent the entire night, not just cleaning up the mess they left behind in her mind, but also meticulously preparing for the big project presentation the next day. This wasn't just about the project anymore. This was about proving her worth, not just to them, but to herself and her team. The next morning, Sarah walked into the boardroom. The Sharks were all there, sipping their expensive coffees, barely glancing up. They expected the same timid junior manager they'd walked all over the day before. They were in for a surprise. When Sarah started her presentation, her voice was clear and steady. She wasn't just reading slides. She was telling a story. She knew her data inside and out. She presented her team's work with passion and unshakable conviction. When the senior director tried to interrupt with a condescending question, she didn't flinch. She answered it directly, with facts and figures that left him speechless. She countered every challenge, not with defensiveness, but with undeniable expertise. You could feel the atmosphere in the room change. The smirks on the sharks' faces slowly faded, replaced by looks of grudging respect, and then genuine surprise. They saw a leader. Her team, watching from the back, sat up straighter, a new light in their eyes. They weren't just watching a presentation. They were watching their boss take back her power. By the end, the room was silent. Sarah finished her final point and looked directly at the senior management team. They stormed her supply room, a place of physical things. She had just stormed their fortress of arrogance, a place built on ego. She walked out of that room not as the junior manager they tried to belittle, but as a force to be reckoned with, and her team. They followed her out, not just as employees, but as a loyal crew ready to follow their captain anywhere. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. See you next time.